My shift in spectatorship came very suddenly and specifically out of the influence of the women's movement, so that films that I'd loved, films that had moved me, I was suddenly watching with different eyes. Instead of being absorbed into the screen, into the story, into the mise en scène and the beauty of the cinema, I was irritated. And instead of being an absorbed spectator, a voyeuristic spectator, a male spectator as it were, I suddenly found I'd become a woman spectator who watched the film from a distance and critically, rather than with those absorbed eyes.
In 1975, Laura Mulvey stated in her essay Visual Pleasure Narrative Cinema that the films produced by the predominant film industry were composed by three looks: the one of the camera, the one of the audience, and the one of the characters. That the act of watching a film was purely voyeuristic and scopophilic. Being men not just the central element of the plot of the film itself, but also of the full experience of watching one. Presenting men as the active element, and representing women as the passive raw material for his gaze. Is it possible to make films that escape this voyeuristic and scopophilic look? There is no way in which we can produce an alternative out of the blue, but we can start by examining patriarchy with the tools it provides. In 1896, just a year after the Lumière brothers screened their first short, Alice Guy Blaché wrote, directed and produced La Fée aux Choux, The Cabbage Fairy, which could be the first fictional film ever made. Founding her own film studio and filming more than 700 films, Alice was one of the first filmmakers to utilize close-ups. What really amazes me is that she made what could possibly be the first political film ever made. In The Consequences of Feminism, Alice reverses the gender roles of men and women. Women are out working, treating men as objects. Women are shown harassing and sexually abusing them, creating really shocking images. It's really interesting how she had to put men suffering so the audience could see how fatal these actions were, and by doing this, she made women issues visible. Let's now move on to Agnes Varda, a Belgian filmmaker also called the godmother of the Nouvelle Vague, whose early work influenced filmmakers as Jean-Luc Godard.
Minute, beau papillon. Être laide, c'est ça la mort. Tant que je suis belle, je suis vivante et 10 fois plus que les autres.
When it comes to exposing the male gaze, Cleo from 5 to 7 is a total masterclass. Cleo is a famous Parisian singer who thinks she has cancer and tries to calm herself down by thinking that her life doesn't depend on her health state, but on her beauty. The film will follow Cleo's journey across real locations in real time, as she waits for her medical test results. We can see how she uses her beauty as a coping mechanism, and the constant use of mirrors and reflections can't be ignored. I'm going to quote Roy J. Nelson saying that Cleo is not merely looking at herself, she's observing herself as perceived by others. Mirrors are a symbol of the male gaze, and Cleo represents the perfect example of the myth. For the French theorist Roland Barthes, myth is a type of speech defined more by its intention than its literal sense. Myth takes place in the secondary level of significance. For example, the sign fire can be removed from its denotative meaning, and a new connotative meaning piled onto it. The sign fire can be a signifier for passion or destruction. The film theorist Anne Kaplan exposes the male gaze, explaining how on screen women are lifted to the secondary level of connotation, which is the myth, being portrayed not as what they actually signify, but as what they represent for men. Cleo has based all her persona on the myth. But by singing a new song her managers have composed for her, she questions her entire personality. And magic happens.
Comme une île déserte que recouvre la mer. Mes plages se dévident sans toi, sans toi. Belle en pure perte, nue au cœur de l'hiver, je suis un corps avide, sans toi, sans toi. Rongé par le cafard, morte au cercueil de verre, je me couvre de rides, sans toi, sans toi. Et si tu viens trop tard, on m'aura mis en terre, seule, laide et livide, sans toi, sans toi, sans toi.
Cleo refuses to keep being the object, the one to be looked at. And decides to be the one who looks. Cleo seems now in control of her life. And although at the end of the film her doctor confirms she has cancer, she doesn't seem sad. In fact, she has never felt so free.
Je vais commencer. Alors, le film, c'est 3 journées de la vie d'une femme qui a une vie très très organisée, bardée contre le hasard. Cette femme vit seule avec son fils, elle est veuve, et depuis la mort de son mari, elle a continué exactement à vivre de la même manière que comme s'il était là, parce que il n'y a pas obligatoirement la nécessité d'un homme pour que, si vous voulez, on joue son rôle. L'ordre symbolique est tellement fort. Bon. Et bon, de toute façon, pour continuer à vivre, elle reçoit des hommes.
And I can't finish without mentioning Chantal Akerman's work. Her words made me think on this famous fragment for Margaret Atwood's The Robber Bride. Even pretending you are encountering into male fantasies is a male fantasy. Pretending you are unseen. Pretending you have a life of your own. That you can wash your feet and comb your hair, unconscious of the ever-present watcher peering through the keyhole. You are a woman with a man inside watching a woman. You are your own voyeur. Jeanne Dielman follows her duties as the perfect mother she's meant to be. And while doing so, Akerman deherotizes her in a way I've never seen before. There are no camera movements, no close-ups. Even when she's washing her body, there is no way possible the audience can sexualize her. She's just washing her body as usual. That's why the last scene is so shocking, when we discover that the perfect quiet housewife has actually been prostituting herself. And now, it's my time, and also yours, to keep alive not just Akerman's legacy, but all the female filmmakers who smartly exposed and broke with the male gaze. And by doing so, we will create a better and safer world for everyone.
Il y a des réalisateurs comme Bergman qui ont passé leur vie à faire des films sur les femmes. Quand les femmes vont parler d'elles-mêmes, je crois que ça va être complètement différent. Je crois qu'à partir du moment où, par exemple, ces mêmes sujets vont être abordés par des femmes, comme la prostitution, par exemple, je pense que ça sera sous un angle qu'on n'aura pas encore vu.